Good evening, everyone. I didn't send out a reminder of this one, so I'm not sure how many people are going to turn up for it today, which is fine. I will keep open participant screen on my other screen and the chat window. For anybody who does sign in, if they have questions, they can feel free to ping me with them. And I'm also switching up my screen layout today, so hopefully you'll see me staring more at you rather than to the side. Don't have a ton to cover today, so it may not take the full half hour. Just want to bring up a couple of items. Some things to try to target this week, maybe for those with the younger groups. And this coming weekend is our first game of games for our first grade and older. So as always, we'll stick with the same general agenda here, discuss a little bit about practice, then games, and any general topics I have with regards to the league, and then leave time to discuss any questions that anybody might have, either in the group or if you have them during the week or anything like that, please shoot me an email. Okay, just a reminder, first two slides here on practice, definitely check out playwra.com. There's a bunch of training plans, the online courses from US Soccer are linked there, and the link to the MOJO app is there as well. I definitely do recommend taking a look at what MOJO is out there. I really, really like the US youth soccer training sessions on MOJO. There's a lot of really useful supplemental information that you can share with your families, whether it be your assistant coaches, yourself. Take a look through them, and with the families of the kids. There's a lot of really useful information out there, so I highly recommend it. So again, playwra.com. We've got both the Eastern Pennsylvania youth soccer training plans as well as Massachusetts. And if you are interested in taking a US soccer coaching course, I highly recommend it. Just let me know, get in contact. Intramural Soccer at wrasports.org or sports@pjlaub.com. Those are both great ways to get in touch with me. Okay. I wanted to bring up one set of technical skills in particular. We talked last week about dribbling, using all parts of the foot, the general 6 soccer turns that I like to train my younger age groups. This week, I put together a MOJO Soccer Passing skills playlist. I went through a bunch of the MOJO videos. I kind of collected a lot of the basic passing skills drill videos into one kind of it's a playlist of basic skills around passing. And I was looking around on YouTube. Doesn't take long if you go searching for some soccer passing drills. There's lots of diamond drills. Beyond just getting your kids, making sure they're passing with the instep of the foot, really trying to lock their foot in place as they're swinging through like a golf club, drive it to your teammate. Emphasize that there's 2 parts of a pass. One, the person making the pass, hitting the ball properly and to their teammate. And the second part of it is that your teammate needs to be able to receive the pass. So a lot of the soccer passing skills videos, let me see if I can pull that up. It's a lot of the videos here are receiving videos. So receiving with different parts of the foot, receiving on the ground, receiving the ball in the air, receiving the thigh. There's a lot in this basic one about what is passing and then when to do it, how to do it. And then there's other parts of it, but the receiving is just as important as actually passing the ball. One of the things I think it's good to start working on with the tactical understanding is shielding. A lot of kids understand how to dribble, how to use all their feet or all different parts of their feet, so they're starting to, but they don't understand about how to make sure that defender that's on their back doesn't get the ball, turning sideways to the ball pressure so that you can have 2 feet between, both of your feet between them and the ball. You are allowed to have your arms out. So, getting used to actually shielding them and turning away from pressure. If the pressure is one direction, turn away from it. Another tactical understanding thing is on the defensive side of the game. This is the ideas of pressure, cover, and balance. If you're not familiar with them, pressure essentially is the first defender is getting close to the ball, not overly attacking the person on the ball, but close enough to take away some options for that person on the ball. And so that if that person on the ball does make a mistake, the pressure person can win the ball from them. Cover is essentially the second defender. That second defender takes a position between the ball and the goal and provides cover so that whoever's providing pressure, if that pressure player gets beat, the cover person has a chance to attack the ball as soon as it gets around the pressure defender. And then lastly is balance. And balance is really about taking away passing lanes, but providing a fallback cover player in case the pressure player gets beat, cover advances to pressure, balance would then swing over into cover. As far as goalkeeping points for this week, I can't emphasize it enough with my goalkeepers is you just stop the ball first with your body. And that means your body has to be in the right place. You have to move your chest. You should really be concentrating on your chest where that's at. And then that's taking away most of the shots. After that, then you want to keep your hands out wide. And when possible, that's when you bring your hands in to get the ball. Should not be a block with your hands first. It should be block with your body first. And part of to do that, especially inside when the team is approaching and getting close to a position where they can take a shot, is keepers need to take small steps. You have to have a foot in contact with the ball, with the ground at any time, so you can dive to the left or to the right at any moment. So body first, then hands, and then also making sure your keepers are taking small steps when they're in that critical stage where the ball could be shot at any moment. Again, first games are this coming Saturday, 10th of September. I was out on the fields on Thursday. I noticed that some of the nets still weren't in place, so I will follow up with them and maybe even run over there myself tomorrow since I'm off and make sure the nets get placed. And I think then we'll have pretty much everything in there except for the 11v11 field where we're still working with the township on that one. And again, whatever you can do, try to build up your players' confidence. Failure happens in soccer. Failure happens all the time. You're going to get beat in a one-on-one situation, whether you're the attacker or the defender. That's okay. Just try to get them comfortable with the idea that failure happens and you're part of a team. And if one player has an issue, we're going to make sure that we're backing them up. So if they're playing in defense and they're the pressure, I'm going to get behind you and be your cover so that if they beat you, that's okay. I'm still there to help out. Or if you're on the attack and, they're trying to out dribble a defender and it doesn't work for them that time, then, I'm still going to be able to feed them the ball and give them another chance later on in the game. I did not update the attacking points for this week just because they are really important, especially as we're getting into the first game, especially for the youngest age groups. They're inherently unconsciously selfish. It's not a problem. That's just where they are at first and second grade. So they're going to want to dribble as much as possible. Well, any chance you can to get your kids to avoid the swarm would be great. All right. Defending points. If like I mentioned earlier on, first defender between the ball and the goal. In fact, the second defender should also be between the ball and the goal. Slide on to the attacker. As I say, you want your toes pointing the direction that you want the attacker to go. So you don't ever want your toes pointing towards the middle of the field, and you want them to go out wide whenever possible in your half of the field. If you're on the other half of the field, it could be that your team is actually playing where, in the attacking half of the field, we want to funnel them into the middle, make them come into our midfielders. And then on our half of the field, we funnel them out. Definitely concentrate on that pressure person, applying pressure, but not diving in too hard. Tell them to be patient. try to drive the attacker into a second defender, try to drive the attacker into an area where they have fewer options to pass, and be patient and let the attacker make a mistake, because 7 times out of 10 they will. They'll give the too heavy of a touch. You'll be able to step in and take the ball away from them. And then as you start talking to your team about the phases of the game, try to have them understand and recognize what phase are we switching to, transition to attack, transition to defense. And, when we're transitioning to attack, that means that our forward needs to recognize that. And as soon as they see that transition to an attack, they need to be running for an open space. Not everybody does, but certain teammates on your team need to be making a run. As soon as it looks like your team's winning the ball, they need to be making a run for open space, so that if your team does win the ball, and as they're establishing the attacking phase of the game, they have an easy pass to somebody in space. Hang on. Still getting over this cold, so I hope I hit my mute button in time so you didn't hear that cough. And likewise, when, in the attack, everybody's trying to spread out and get open. If you lose the ball, then your teammates need to recognize, oh, we're losing the ball. Everybody get compact. Everybody get in the middle of the field, take it away from them. Different formations on the different styles of the game are going to play this differently. If you're playing a 3-2-1 in a 7v7, you may be pushing your outside backs to attack very quickly up the sideline. And then if they recognize that we are losing the ball, where they need to go to recover into defensive position. Or if you're playing, a 2-3-2 in a 9v9 formation, you might be doing a lead and lag style with your attackers. So you need to have your attackers recognize, all right, well, we're transitioning to attack on the left side. So as the left side forward, I know that means I need to get out wide, and the right side forward needs to be, leading ahead. And so what does that mean for your teammates? And it's sketch it out on a board, or sketch it out on some paper, provide them some handouts. For the 4v4 games, it's a lot simpler. I definitely would recommend that you start working in 3 lines in your formation. So I always like to do a 1-2-1. So 1 defender, 2 midfielders, and a forward, and really talking to them about, defender is not there. When I always ask my defenders, what's the point of defense? And, all of them are raising their hands to stop the other team from scoring, or, to block the goal, or, not let the defender take a shot. Those are all correct, but that's not actually the main purpose of defense. I always go back, well, how do you win a game of soccer? And they kind of stare at me blankly for a few seconds, and then somebody will chime in, score goals. That's right. In order to win a game of soccer, you need to score goals. You need to score more goals than the other team. So how do we score goals? Can we score the goals without the ball? Well, no, of course not. So defense, the primary purpose of defense is to win the ball back. And we play defense everywhere on the field. Our defenders play defense. Our midfielders play defense. Our forwards play defense. Everybody plays defense. Defense is about winning the ball back so we can score goals. That's what it's about. Yes, we're trying to stop the other team from scoring. Yes, we're trying to stop the other team from shooting. But really, it's about winning the ball back. So I definitely recommend, even in a 4v4 situation, that you try to build 3 lines so that they understand that midfielders will occasionally rotate into defense. Forwards will occasionally rotate back onto the midfield or to the defensive line. Soccer is a very fluid game. All right. Any other questions, please feel free to share. Coach's bags. I did find a couple more size 4 balls. I'm pretty much out of size 3 balls. I do know a couple of teams that still needs them. So I'm looking for ways to get that to all of the coaches that are remaining. A couple have reached out via email. Definitely know that that's still there. I need to get them delivered. So hopefully, sometime this week, I'll be able to get over and find out when those teams are practicing and drop off some bags. Coaches shirts, I am looking for volunteers for this coming weekend to help distribute coaches shirts. And that's just mainly, spending an hour at the table, as coaches come in, hand out their shirts. I did find a bunch more extra larges, so we should have enough mediums, plenty of larges, a good number of extra larges, and some double XLs. We're out of smalls at the moment. But yeah, so we should have those for the first games. So if you haven't gotten one yet, please stop by. And if you're available to help pass out shirts on next Saturday, please let me know that as well. All right. One other general topic that I didn't add to this is I updated the soccer manual for this year. I am going to be posting a link to that in the YouTube video for this week. I am also going to be making sure that gets uploaded onto playwra.com as soon as possible. I should be able to get it up on our old website, but I really want to get it up on playwra.com as soon as possible. So especially for the older coaches playing, 77 or 99 leagues, I do want to make sure you all look through that. There aren't a lot of changes. Just some verbiage changes in a couple of spots, but just for 4v4 games, remember that the build out line is, when there's a free kick on your opposing team's defensive half, your kids need to retreat back to midfield. Okay, so your kids have to come back behind the midfield line before the other team. They should retreat. And if the other team, waits, you have to get behind the midfield line before you start. Now, if the other team just goes ahead and starts playing, that's fine. Your kids can turn around and go back and play once the ball gets played to another player. So what that means is if that 4v4 team is starting the ball out from their, the defender kicks it. Once the ball gets to one of the midfielders, then your players can turn around and start playing again. For 7v7, there is a build out line on the field. It's somewhere between the 18-yard box and the midfield circle. So your kids do need to retreat behind that line during any goal kicks. And there is no build out line in 9v9. One of the important things that I also try to point out about the build out line is that's where offside begins. So in a 7v7 game, we don't call offside in 4v4. We will, our refs are being trained to call offside in 7v7, but it's only from the build out line to the end line, meaning from the build out line to the goal. So you're not offside. You cannot be offside until you reach that build out line. And then it's only if you're past the second last defender. Keeper's usually the last defender. So, it effectively is the last defender that sets the offside line. There's some videos out there on build out line on EPYSA. If you do a quick search, I'll see if I can find that link and put it in the list, in the notes below. But essentially the build out line is where offside starts. It's where your team needs to retreat on any goal kicks. And the hope of that is that it gives the defending team that's playing the ball out of their defense a little bit of time to try to make some passes. We're trying to encourage the kids to play soccer well and play part of playing it well is being able to pass it out. What else? I think there were some changes to the playoff rules with regards to shootouts. Nothing terribly big there. Basically that, after overtime, it's the players that are on the field that are eligible to take PKs. All players on the field, including the keepers, must take a PK before any player is allowed to take a second one. You are allowed to change your keeper whenever you want as part of the PKs, but you can't do it to ice a kicker, meaning that if it takes too long, then the referee has the authority to just award a successful PK to the other team instead of having them take a PK if you're taking too long to make the switch. I think those were the biggest changes. Everything else is pretty standard. Throw-ins gave a little bit more instruction on throw-ins. Foul throw-ins will be allowed for the 7v7 group for sure. I think we also allowed it for the first half of the year in 9v9. Either way, at some point about halfway through the season, our referees will stop calling foul throw-ins and just award the ball to the other team if the throw-in is not good. And that means 2 feet on the ground, ball straight behind the thrower's head, 2 hands on the ball, straight over the head to where it's going. And definitely try to work in some throw-in practices in your games, in your practices, in your training sessions. All right, doesn't look like we have anybody on the call today. And I think I addressed most of the points that were out there with regards to questions I got from many coaches, mostly around the bags and the shirts. So again, if you are going to be available to help distribute shirts at any point over the weekend, Saturday, please let me know. I would certainly welcome some help with that. And if you do have any questions as you're going through the rest of the season, please, shoot me an email, jump on this meeting and share it with us. It's really good to have voices other than my own out there. And I will definitely include a link to the passing skills playlist that I've started to build. I've started building other playlists. I'll probably introduce them each week. I'm also going to pull together some of my more favorite ball mastery playlists. So if you want to share them with your kids, with your at practice, and ask them to work on things during the week, there's some fun 3 to 5 minute ball mastery skills videos out there that the kids can do at home and really have a good time with. Okay, everybody, it's 9:23, so I managed to take most of the half an hour. I apologize for that, but thank you for listening so far. Again, I will get this video up on YouTube as soon as possible, and have a great week at training, and please reach out with any questions, and we'll see you next Saturday for the first week of games. Good night, everyone.